as a rap group.
That's what America wants to hear. Sex, violence, and drugs, man.
Their lyrics carried messages of murder and mayhem.
What you won't do? I got my chopper loaded and it's pointed straight at you.
They transformed into one of Florida's most violent Haitian gangs.
They don't play. The Haitians don't play.
100 strong, their firepower has outgunned police.
It was literally the Wild West.
Gunshots every day, gunshots every night.
They're known as Top Six.
The top six, baby.
In their world, an eye for an eye is the rule.
It's a back and forth thing. It ain't gonna never stop till everybody die.
It's the life. You know, it's either you get him first or he gets you.
Palm Beach, Florida. A lush seaside community in the shadows of Miami, where supersized mansions and upscale boutiques are shaded by majestic royal palms.
It's the city of the rich, so they say. But everybody on the other side of the island of Palm Beach is trying to get rich.
Less than 2 miles from this tropical paradise is West Palm Beach, a city isolated from that impenetrable wall of wealth.
It's a bridge, actually, that go up. They really don't want us there. They'll just put up the bridge.
With nearly 100,000 residents and an estimated 160 gangs, West Palm Beach is a dangerous killing zone.
We in the hood, man. Y'all downtown West Norm. We call it West Norm, man, because all the gunplay that be going on around here. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can get it at any time.
The violence plaguing this small community is a product of proximity. A mere 70 miles south lies the Port of Miami, the one-time nerve center of Scarface Nation. At the height of Miami's drug war, 85% of the nation's cocaine was smuggled into the country through this major U.S. city. Palm Beach County is one of the first stops north on the notorious I-95 highway, a lucrative drug corridor.
Where there's money and drugs, there's guns. Where you get those three things together, there's always violence.
One of Palm Beach County's most dangerous criminal outfits is a hardcore street gang known as Top Six.
It's Top Six, my represent, damn dog. You know how we do.
Whose Haitian roots give them a deadly swagger.
And don't mess with them Haitian boys, man. You better watch out, boy. Them boys deep.
They have no fear. I don't know if that's from the Haitian mentality. They have no fear of the police, no fear of dying.
It's really about where they come from. They don't really take no bull.
Top Six are 21st century gangsters, billing themselves as a rap group and record label. The gang says it's influenced by artists like 50 Cent and Master P. Their music's message and their fan base are deeply rooted in Haitian pride. But according to law enforcement, Top Six are secretly composers of crime. Their lyrics, coded messages of terror.
I dispose of your body, we leave it floating. Your mama crying and hoping. Bad news, they find you in the ocean with 9 bullet wounds.
They want to have a cover. There's always a cover. But when you peel back the layers of the onion, you find that what you have at the core of it is corruption.
The cover and codes devised by Top Six have proved difficult for law enforcement to crack.
That's why it's been so hard to combat them, because nobody admits to their membership, where the Bloods and the Crips are proud of who they are.
Still, there are clues hidden deep within the gang's songs. Local cops have discovered Top Six isn't just one gang, but an organized crime family made up of more than a dozen different Haitian cliques.
In their music, you will hear them call out their allies.
Late work, top 6, G-Block, Sandcastle, every mother sees terrorist 12-14.
You know that these are all part of the alliance.
Together, they are a force to be reckoned with. 400 strong, moving throughout South Florida.
You know, who wouldn't want to be a part of something that was big? You know what I mean? They're rapping, doing their thing. You got the young kids, you know, claiming top 6. Yeah, top 6, we top 6, we hanging out with top 6.
26-year-old Ghost joined the Top 6 Alliance in high school, clicking up with a subset of the gang called the Down South Boys.
Started out as just, you know, just people being young, having fun.
Though Ghost was born in the U.S., his mother was an immigrant. One of more than 55,000 boat people who fled Haiti in the 1970s. As a result, Ghost's African-American peers looked down on him.
America was portraying Haiti as being a poor country, salvaged people, people that just into voodoo, magic and stuff like that.
His dark skin typecast him in other ways. When he was 16, Ghost was walking home from an after-school job. He was arrested for a crime he didn't commit.
Somebody had got beat up for his money, hit over the head with a hammer. I came walking down the street. I was black, I fit the description. Got locked up for it, went to trial, got proven that it wasn't me, then I was let go. Then that's when street life really started.
Ghost dropped out of school in the 10th grade. He turned to the streets and to Top 6.
If something going down with one of us, we're not just going to just sit there and let it happen. We all going to have each other back and help each other through.
You know, they was fighting so much for their respect.
Ghost wasn't the only one drawn by the gang's message of Haitian unity. 25-year-old Darius Martin, a.k.a. Deadly, is a rapper who credits Top 6 with his success.
They did my video, you know what I'm saying? They did a lot of other music, business stuff with me. So I represent for them, you know what I'm saying, in the entertainment way.
Deadly is glad to be on the right side of Top 6. Those who aren't pay the price.
Like, you being on the wrong block, you can get your ass whacked. Or you just being on the wrong street, or you walking while these was riding 4 deep in the car. It just happened to be the other day.
Top 6 relies on a group of enforcers to protect its turf. A 6-square-mile community within West Palm Beach, known as Lake Worth.
Lake Worth, baby.
If anyone tries to infringe on their territory, they shoot to kill.
There's really no such thing about like a second chance, or if you have a problem with somebody and you see them right there, man, it's either you do them right now or you lose the opportunity of ever catching them again.
If their goal was to kill you and they missed, they were going to come back. And it wasn't, I'm going to come up and I'm going to shoot at you with a .22. I'm going to come, I'm going to bring some of my friends. We're going to light you up.
In Lake Worth, even the most notorious gangs feared the brutality of this homegrown terror.
We talked to Latin King gang members. We spoke to Blood and Crip gang members, Gangsta Disciples. We spoke to them, we talked about Top 6. And we're like, those boys are crazy.
Palm Beach County top mother 6, that's real.
Their powerful arsenal and trigger-happy reputation has even made some cops reluctant to work the gang unit.
We'd be at one shooting scene, and you could hear shots being fired at another location in the city while we were already out there.
Yeah, what you want? Again, what you want? Assault rifles, handguns. It's all out here. AK-47s, SKs, 223s, M16s, 9mm, Desert Eagles, Glocks, 4.5s. 38s, 22s, 32s, what you want? Extensions, all that shit. 100-round drums, 100-round clips, all that shit. It's out here. It's out here.
And Top 6 isn't afraid to use any of it. At their height, the gang had racked up 150 shootings and had 14 homicides to their name. But one brazen crime would push authorities to a breaking point and set off a war to take down the gang. September 2006. Sherwood Joseph and 3 other Top 6 members were cruising the streets looking for trouble. They found it in the parking lot of a Super 8 motel just outside of Lake Worth. A car carrying another local clique called the 14th Boys pulled into the parking lot. Inside the car, Colby and Markel Jackson, hated enemies of Top 6, were preparing for a routine drug deal to go down. The Jackson brothers were unaware that their Top 6 rivals had spotted them and that they were driving straight into a trap. There was only one way into the parking lot, and it was the same way out.
Once they got him in there, they blocked him in and basically got out of the car and opened fire. It's like a scene you would see in the movies.
76 rounds from an AK-47 to fire. 76 rounds. Magazine holds 30. So was it more than one gun? So multiple shooters with AK-47s getting out? It's incredible.
Colby Jackson was killed instantly. His brother Markel somehow escaped the hail of gunfire.
Motel rooms were shot. It's a miracle nobody else was hit.
Sherwood Joseph and his Top 6 triggermen quickly fled the scene. But moments later, they circled back to finish the job. Surveillance cameras caught a glimpse of their second assault. As smoke billowed from machine gun blasts, Markel Jackson scrambled to safety.
The gunmen walk over to one of the individuals and shoot him while he's down on the sidewalk.
Markel Jackson somehow survived, but the merciless shootings shocked Lake Worth authorities. All bets were off between Top 6 and the 14th Boys, and blood was about to run in the streets.
I think this was the last straw. Once this happened, we knew that everything was going to break loose.
West Palm Beach, Florida. Separated by the Intercoastal Waterway from its rich neighbors in Palm Beach, it's called the other side of the island. A city plagued with pockets of poverty and the deadly gunplay of a homegrown Haitian gang known as Top 6.
Just like a Vietnam vet that done been over there and done been through all that gunplay. You know what I mean? We've been through the same gunplay, just in the urban area. We wasn't in the jungle, but we call it a concrete jungle.
The gang started in 1999 with 6 aspiring Haitian rap artists at Lake Worth High School. When Ghost was 17, he met the rappers in an ESOL class, English for speakers of other languages.
Majority of people, they didn't really speak like good English, and this is where you'll come and, you know, practice on your English and sharpen up.
Yet there was no communication gap when it came to rap music. The Haitians spent countless hours practicing after school. Some decided to call themselves Top 6 for one simple reason.
There was only 6 of them, so they just went with the top at the number represented how many people was in the group at the time.
But Top 6 wasn't the only Haitian gang to form at Lake Worth High School. Other crews vied for dominance in the hallways and on the street.
At first it was just for fun and games, then after a while it became serious. It became a way of life.
you would have one clique rolling around Lake Worth. If they saw one lone member of the other clique on the street, they would basically jump out, beat him up, strip him of his clothes, and leave him naked in the street. And that was kind of like the little game they played with each other.
But to Top 6, it was child's play. They lusted for the big time. And to get there, they needed just one thing: money. In the late 90s, thousands of illegal immigrants from Cuba and Haiti worked in West Palm Beach as day laborers, trying to cash in on the American dream.
Most of them don't have a green card where they could get a bank account and put their money in the bank, so they usually carry their whole paycheck with them.
To Top 6, they were simply walking ATMs.
It's literally like, you know, sharks following a school of fish, and they go after them.
But the gang's need for green didn't stop there. West Palm Beach had long been a hotspot for drugs, channeled up from Miami. Though law enforcement had cleaned out most of the dope dealers decades earlier, it was now a wide open market, and Top 6 stepped in to fill the void.
They were connected to people who were moving multi-kilos. They were the vehicle or the tool for these major drug trafficking organizations to get the product on the street.
The gang's supply was funneled in by their Miami-based brothers, a violent Haitian gang known as Zopound. As Top 6's drug empire grew, so did their numbers. By 2001, they had an estimated 200 members, and even more fans.
They being heard and people were liking them more and coming flocking to them more. At the same time, they are actually, moving keys. So that's another reason to really get to know them.
With money and music as the lure, Top 6 was becoming a de facto role model for Haitians in West Palm Beach. Every Haitian crew now pledged allegiance to the gang.
If you're a Haitian, you know what I'm saying, that's what you wanted to be. Some people broke off and did their own things, but you wanted to be in the Top 6 rap group, you know what I'm saying?
They was fighting at every club that they went to and screaming out Top 6. They was making a name for themselves.
Hey, listen here, man. This is your boy, Mr. Freak, 5'6".
Jimmy Petitou, known on the streets as Mr. Freak, saw the group's potential.
Top 6 all day. And crackers don't like it? Them crackers. Top 6 all day. Mr. Freak Production, Top 6 all mother day.
The half-brother of one of the original members, Mr. Freak produced the gang's first music video as part of a college project.
My soldier died thumping in the battlefield. Deep most inside, I just cry.
In 2003, Top 6 released their first album, titled Tearing Up the House. It was an eerie premonition of what was to come.
Everybody was just showing it off. And I was like, wow, to do an album, come out in plastic. I mean, for me growing up, and that was my dream to do one of those, that was the biggest thing.
9-6 straight right, chill out with your dog Ray Low.
The group's fame soared when they were broadcast on a pirate radio show run by local disc jockey Ray Hartley, a.k.a. Raylo.
Hello, what's up? They were the biggest thing. They were the only thing representing for the Haitians at that time. There was people that probably weren't even Haitian claiming Top 6. Everybody was just jumping on the bandwagon, trying to come up off the little Top 6 fame and run with it.
But Top 6 didn't want to be just studio gangsters. As their music careers took off, so did their criminal empire.
Either you're rapping about what you're really living or you're fake. If you're not living that life, then you ain't supposed to be rapping about it. You're just a studio gangster, you fake. So they wanted to be real.
Their gangbanging was real. But by 2004, their kingdom began to show some cracks. The gang's message of Haitian solidarity touted in their lyrics was being lost on newer members of the Top 6 family, who were seeking their own share of the spotlight.
And it's like when you're doing things, you might be in the way of somebody else shining, so they would probably take you out the picture so they could shine.
Ghost and the Down South Boys gang felt disrespected by Top 6 and vowed to set them straight one night at a Lake Worth club.
Things happened in the parking lot, the fight happened. 3 of Top 6 members got stabbed.
Ghost claims his homeboys let him take the fall. He was sentenced to 4 years in prison for attempted murder.
After that incident happened, they went around rapping, I'm like 50 Cent, I got stabbed, I didn't die. That kind of like boosted their head and made them feel like probably invincible or they just cheated death.
50 Cent was a huge influence upon the young Haitian guys who had been shot in a drive-by, sold drugs, been arrested for selling drugs, sings about selling drugs. They looked at him as a guy who was one of them.
It was a defining moment that turned Top 6 into a criminal syndicate, hell-bent on the belief that violence could take them to the top of the charts.
If you messed with one of them, you messed with all of them.
That's real.
The Haitians armed themselves with assault rifles and automatic handguns and went after whoever challenged their rise to power.
You'll see just the most craziest stuff, but you know, you gotta blink twice and ask yourself, did I just see that? You'll see people, you know, swerving on you, come shoot out the car, pop, pop. Whatever, you know. Just, you know, people getting chopped up, you know. Chopped up means
we were getting called out 2, 3, 4 times a week because of a shooting that was related to these guys. A week.
The brutal violence was reflected in the lyrics of their songs, like Payback.
I ain't no stranger to y'all. I got 100-round clip that make all y'all fall. And that's right. Y'all boys asking for problems, but I guarantee you that SK gon' solve. Payback, payback.
When you put a message out and you say, you did us wrong and we're coming to get you, and then you go do it, that song takes on a whole new meaning.
It's more than just singing a song. You know, you can say that all day long, but when you actually going out and actually killing people, then you're living your music.
It was as if every song spawned another shooting. On Christmas Eve 2006, the bloodshed escalated to a new level. In a brazen attack in broad daylight, a Top 6 member opened fire inside the Boynton Beach Mall. The gunman unloaded 6 shots at close range, killing a rival gang member.
Now, you're talking about 2:30 in the afternoon, Christmas Eve, in a crowded mall, about 30 yards away from the kids' playground area.
Police responding to the scene were caught in the hail of gunfire.
Some of our officers hear the shots fired. They go towards the scene. He actually fires rounds through the mall at our officers, and we end up chasing him through the mall.
Once that happened, people stepped up and said, wow, this could happen anywhere. It's no longer in the city of Lake Worth on one street that we don't care about because we don't live there. Now it affected everybody. I mean, they shut down an entire mall on Christmas Eve.
Top 6 was out of control, and Palm Beach County was paying the price.
It was, you know, live for the moment, take care of each other, and F everybody else.
West Palm Beach, nestled in the heart of Florida's Gold Coast, it is ranked number 13 among America's most dangerous cities. A dark world of lawlessness run by a Haitian gang called Top 6.
Let me get my 6. 6 again.
You look at the national gangs, they have a Bible. They have something to go by. There's almost rules. There was no rules in Top 6. It was free-for-all. There were no rules.
In Top 6, there's no hierarchy or structure. The only way to get to the top is through bloodshed.
With Top 6, it was more secular. It was sort of power, in a sense, rotated. The guys with the money, the more violent guys, got more prestige and became more powerful.
Though some Top 6 members boast solid black or white t-shirts, others insist the gang doesn't have official colors.
Where we from, too many ain't got nothing, man. Them little $5 t-shirts do good. You feel me? You go to the store and buy a white t-shirt, you looking like $1 million, you know what I'm saying? It ain't no gang, cause we ain't repping no more flags. We ain't throwing up no red flags, no blue flags, no green flags. We ain't repping no flags, we repping us as black people.
Top 6 members do represent with t-shirts emblazoned with the letters R.I.P.
It's just like when somebody died, you know, in remembrance of that person, you'll put their face on a t-shirt, you know, go to the funeral like that, or when the anniversary, or whenever you feel like you're missing your homeboy, you know.
Some members are also marked with simple tattoos that read Top 6 or claim the city of Lake Worth. But there's one way almost all Top 6 members can be identified: by their battle scars.
Many of them are excited when they get shot. They actually thrive on that. Many of them are happy to show their scars.
Their hand sign also represents the number 6. All 5 fingers on one hand and the middle finger on the other. They also throw up the middle fingers on both hands, symbolizing their motto, FTW. Unlike many street gangs, Top 6 finds it unnecessary to tag its turf.
Their reputation was so strong on the street as far as being extremely violent. If you have any type of hesitation to shoot you, that they didn't have to mark territory.
Graffiti is like the newspaper of the street. Well, the newspaper of the street for Top 6 members is the music. You know, that's how they get the message out.
According to authorities, Top 6 uses its CDs as recruitment tools and often gives away copies for free. The gang recruits members from the same place it formed: high school. Membership requires little more than loyalty.
Pretty much, there's no jump in. There's basically guys who are respected for being able to handle their business on the street, guys who are loyal, who back them up in the club.
Anyone who joins Top 6 gains instant recognition.
You really want to get close to the people who have connections, because it's all about coming up. Being a made man, you have to know the right people who have connections, so you can get their connections, so you could making the kind of money that they making.
Once inside the gang, there are 3 ways to prove oneself: distributing drugs, making music,
Call me the hit man because I was seeking destroy.
pulling the trigger.
It's either do or die. They living, you know what I'm saying, they in the streets.
That same philosophy applies to the gang's most important rule, the G Code.
They don't talk. You go to any gang-related shooting, there could be in broad daylight, in the middle of summer, where 20 or 30 people are standing outside their houses or around that area it happened, and nobody would talk to you.
Palm Beach authorities once offered a plea deal to a Top 6 member who drove the getaway car used in a homicide. He refused, choosing jail over snitching.
We weren't interested in putting him away for life. We needed his cooperation to get the actual shooters, and he chose to take a life sentence rather than a 10-year sentence and speak to the police.
Police attribute the gang's silence to their Haitian heritage and their strong sense of loyalty.
Me, I'm my brother's keeper. He's my keeper. Stick to the G code and everything will be okay. Especially if it ain't got shit to do with you. leave it alone, because you stepping in some that you can't wipe off your foot.
Their silence makes them a hot commodity among Mexican drug traffickers.
These organizations see the value of a group like Top 6 because it can get the product out on the streets and it can control what's going on the streets.
Top 6 deals primarily out of traps. They rely on motel managers to serve as lookouts and help secure transactions.
You're serving in front of a motel, so you paying them, you know, for like a little leeway, so when things go down, they won't be so mad at you because you was paying, you was like taking care of them.
Most important, Top 6 depends on guns, their weapon of choice.
Choppers, choppers, and more choppers.
The person holding a gun in their hand just gives them the sense of that, you know, like they could play God. You know, they could judge if a person should live or die.
Most of their guns are acquired through home robberies and car thefts. Top 6 has even been brazen enough to steal from police vehicles. They are also active at gun shows, where they make straw purchases.
Very often what will happen is a citizen, upstanding citizen with no criminal record will go and buy weapons, whether they be handguns or military assault style weapons, and then essentially sell it to a gang member who will pay top dollar for it.
With rivals on every corner, firepower is a means of survival.
You out there doing what you're doing, you got to be on your because a bitch catch you slipping, they gonna bust your head and bust whoever head with you. And that's how it go down.
For Top 6, death can come at any time, for any reason.
Fighting over females, fighting over money, fighting over territories, fighting because of he say, she say. Just small, petty stuff.
That shit is crazy, man. You ain't know what was gonna happen.
March 27th, 2007. Lake Worth, Florida. 6 months earlier, Top 6 member Sherwood Joseph and 3 of his cronies pumped 76 rounds off an AK-47 into a car parked at a Super 8 motel. Colby Jackson, a hated rival of Top 6, was killed instantly. Now, the victim's gang, the 14th Boys, sought to settle the score with more blood. Nearly a dozen Top 6 members were playing dominoes and cards in the backyard of a house in the heart of their territory.
This was like the Top 6 safe house. Nobody dared to come into this house and disrespect Top 6.
Out of nowhere, 3 masked gunmen, believed to be 14th Boys, stormed the backyard and opened fire with automatic weapons.
They come up through the driveway and they just start popping rounds at anything that was moving. And smoke billowing from the backyard from all the gunfire.
The gunman unloaded 40 rounds before the only armed Top 6 member managed to fire back, hitting one of the shooters.
That kind of throws a whole monkey wrench. One of the other guys' rifles gets jammed, and they decide, okay, let's retreat.
3 men were killed, including Edison Marcel, one of the original members of Top 6. 4 others were injured.
You know, your home is where it's supposed to be exclusive. Nobody's supposed to know about it, because if you have beef, then they're gonna bring it to your home. And the person knew where they stayed at.
It was one of the deadliest, most gruesome crimes in the history of Palm Beach County. Police knew an unprecedented gang war was about to erupt, unless they acted quickly.
Top 6 was going to go out and shoot whoever was responsible for this, and it didn't matter where it was.
In the span of 2.5 years, authorities had already worked nearly 150 shootings and 14 homicides. They had no choice but to dismantle Top 6 by any means necessary.
It's like cutting cancer out. It's a cancer. You don't want to just get a little piece of it. You want to take the whole thing.
To take down the gang, authorities knew they would have to topple the entire criminal enterprise. Yet the lack of structure within Top 6 would prove a major challenge.
It makes it more difficult to address because you can't just take out one leader and the group will fold. Every time you take out one key guy, somebody is going to fill that vacuum. There's no one set leader.
All right, you ready?
To carry out the mission, the Sheriff's Office joined forces with 12 other agencies, including the FBI, the ATF, and the U.S. Marshals. Under the RICO Act, they mounted an organized crime case against Top 6, tying the gang to 92 crimes dating back to 2002.
You know, you have members who done did some serious crimes and who had some serious charges. So by putting everything together and just doing the RICO Act, that's the best way to take them down. It's like guilty by association. If we can't stick you with this, then we gonna stick you together as a group.
Top 6, baby. Around Lake Worth, we got that go through vents.
The RICO indictment challenged Top 6 on their #1 rule, the G Code.
And once you can get a group of gang members to snitch on each other and violate their #1 rule, the gang will implode, and then you'll be able to dismantle that gang so that it no longer exists. If they are not going to cooperate with law enforcement and snitch, then we have no choice but to take them to trial and to seek the maximum sentence.
This is the most important thing in the hood, man. People, please stop telling.
In June 2008, law enforcement decapitated the top tier of Top 6. 12 alleged leaders were arrested on numerous charges, including attempted murder, robbery, and cocaine distribution. It was only the second time the RICO statute was used on street gang members in Palm Beach County, and it took the streets by surprise.
I know the shit that they doing, it bring in the feds and make the feds hit you with the RICO, with all this gang shit. Come on, man, if I had money like they say we had money, we'll be living better than what we living. Cause I don't know nobody that got millions of dollars and still walk around like he broke.
In the end, prosecutors hoped to introduce as evidence a crucial ingredient that propelled Top 6's rise to power. It's music.
Music is a tool that gangs use to promote their criminal activity. It lets them show the strength they have in the community by talking about things that they do to terrorize the community.
But their strategy would only work if gang members were willing to go against their unbreakable code of silence. In June 2008, the feds brought a RICO case against the leaders of Top 6, a hardcore Haitian gang who ran the streets of West Palm Beach using reckless firepower. As of June 2009, the trial is ongoing, and only 2 of the 12 key defendants have been convicted. Both refused to break the gang's strict G code and rat on their brothers. They were sentenced to 25 years.
I don't see that unity breaking. I just see that unity getting stronger, to tell you the truth.
Gang-related homicides in Palm Beach County have dropped more than 25%, from 44 in 2007 to 34 in 2008. Since the 2007 murder of Top 6 original member Edison Marcel and the sweeping RICO indictments that followed, the gang has unraveled into disarray. Today, Top 6 has splintered into at least 4 new groups, and a younger generation is taking the reins, still pledging allegiance to Top 6, but under new identities.
It's Top 6!
It's not a good thing to be claiming Top 6 right now because of racketeering and all these things. So, hey, we'll call ourselves Fate Squad now. Or we'll call ourselves this, or we'll call ourselves that.
One group is so bold, they introduced themselves to authorities.
They came in on their own just to tell us, we're not a gang, we are a rap group, this is what we're about. And as we're sitting there and we're talking to them, I'm thinking the whole time, this is 1999, Top 6, the very beginning.
I told them, don't be Top 7. We'll see. But they're on our radar. We know who they are.
Today, old school Top 6 members like Ghost have had enough of gang life.
The street life is not something that you really want to stay into for a very long time. It's something that you get into for a minute, make your money, and get out. If you end up staying there, then either you're going to prison or you're going to be 6 feet deep.
After spending 4 years in prison, Ghost is now struggling to find a job with attempted murder on his resume. He hopes one day to leave Palm Beach behind.
I don't want my kids going through the same thing that I went through. I really want a better life from them.
Man, I'm getting wealthy. Plus, I'm no on the Do you smell me?
Deadly is still chasing his dream of being the next big name in rap. He funds his music through his work as a promoter and performer, and spends his free time cutting demos in an underground studio.
It's the outlet, you know. It's how I get away, hoping, you know, one day get that record deal, and I'm out of here. I'm always come back to the hood, you know. Love the hood, you know, but the whole thing is to get out the hood, you know.
Why you worry about this? Flies around me, I'm the
At the same time, he admits that the RICO case against Top 6 has left him reluctant to fully express himself in his lyrics.
I go harder than the bitch.
You can't even rap what you really want to say because you're scared of what you say gonna get you indicted or something.
We doing this rap, man, and we hoping that get us where we need to be because the other that we was doing at that thug life in the streets, I mean, it gets you halfway where you want to be, but as soon as you feel like you where you want to be, you get f***ed up. This come bust your head or the people come get you. And man, that's what it is. So I'm hoping the bitch don't bust my head, and I'm definitely hoping that the people don't come get me.
Authorities say their greatest concern is that the violence on the streets will continue to drive the music.
The song is reflective of the culture, always has been. And you can take that all the way back from rhythm and blues to rock and roll, soul, up to hip hop. I don't know that it's anything more than a memorialization of what's happening in our neighborhoods.
For those living on the front lines like Deadly, violence and music have always gone hand in hand.
America used to go to war with different countries. What they used to have? Drums. They was going trak, trak, trak. Music been here just like violence been here. It's not rap. It's just violence is nature.
To Top 6, the music speaks for itself, and the lyrics are simply a way to sell CDs.
That's what America wants to hear, sex, violence, and drugs, man. That's entertainment, that's all it is. They're giving people what they want.
For now, authorities wonder if they've really silenced Top 6, or if the gang is capable of a comeback that will again put them center stage in the eyes of the law.
Time will tell. If they could come back, this could make them bigger. It definitely gives them the street credit. We've basically put a name on them now.
I'm gonna tell you, they got $1 million worth of promotion on the news, so if there's anybody that's left free in Top 6, y'all boys do y'all thing. Y'all getting heavily promoted.
out as just, you know, just people being young, having fun.
Though Ghost was born in the U.S., his mother was an immigrant. One of more than 55,000 boat people who fled Haiti in the 1970s. As a result, Ghost's African-American peers looked down on him.
America was portraying Haiti as being a poor country, salvaged people, people that just into voodoo, magic and stuff like that.
His dark skin typecast him in other ways. When he was 16, Ghost was walking home from an after-school job. He was arrested for a crime he didn't commit.
Somebody had got beat up for his money, hit over the head with a hammer. I came walking down the street. I was black, I fit the description, got locked up for it, went to trial, got proven that it wasn't me, then I was let go. Then that's when street life really started.
Ghost dropped out of school in the 10th grade. He turned to the streets and to Top 6.
If something going down with one of us, we're not just going to just sit there and let it happen. We all going to have each other back.
But when you peel back the layers of the onion, you find that what you have at the core of it is corruption.
The cover and codes devised by Top 6 have proved difficult for law enforcement to crack.
That's why it's been so hard to combat them, because nobody admits to their membership, where the Bloods and the Crips are proud of who they are.
Still, there are clues hidden deep within the gang's songs. Local cops have discovered Top 6 isn't just one gang, but an organized crime family made up of more than a dozen different Haitian cliques.
In their music, you will hear them call out their allies.
Top 6, G-Block, Sandcastle, every mother sees terrorist 12, 14.
You know that these are all part of the alliance.
Together, they are a force to be reckoned with. 400 strong, moving throughout South Florida.
You know, who wouldn't want to be a part of something that was big? You know what I mean? They're rapping, doing their thing. You got the young kids, you know, claiming Top 6. Yeah, Top 6, we Top 6, we hanging out with Top 6.
26-year-old Ghost joined the Top 6 Alliance in high school, clicking up with a subset of the gang called the Down South Boys. Dangerous Criminal Outfits is a hardcore street gang known as Top 6.
It's Top 6, my represent, damn dog. You know how we do.
Whose Haitian roots give them a deadly swagger.
And don't mess with them Haitian boys, man. You better watch out, boy. Boy, them boys deep.
They have no fear. I don't know if that's from the Haitian mentality. They have no fear of the police, no fear of dying.
It's really about where they come from. They don't really take no bull.
Top 6 are 21st century gangsters, billing themselves as a rap group and record label. The gang says it's influenced by artists like 50 Cent and Master P. Their music's message and their fan base are deeply rooted in Haitian pride. But according to law enforcement, Top 6 are secretly composers of crime. Their lyrics, coded messages of terror.
I dispose of your body, we even floating. Your mama crying and hoping. Bad news, they find you in the ocean with 9 bullet wounds.
They want to have a cover. There's always a cover.
They began as a rap group.
That's what America wants to hear. Sex, violence, and drugs, man.
Their lyrics carried messages of murder and mayhem.
What you wanna do? I got my chopper loaded and it's pointing straight at you.
They transformed into one of Florida's most violent Haitian gangs.
They don't play. The Haitians don't play.
100 strong, their firepower has outgunned police.
It was literally the Wild West.
Gunshots every day, gunshots every night.
They're known as Top 6.
Top 6, baby.
In their world, an eye for an eye is the rule.
It's a back and forth thing. It ain't gonna never stop till everybody die.
It's the life. You know, it's either you get him first or he gets you.
Palm Beach, Florida. A lush seaside community in the shadows of Miami, where supersized mansions and upscale boutiques are shaded by majestic royal palms.
It's the city of the rich, so they say, but everybody on the other side of the island of Palm Beach is trying to get rich.
Less than 2 miles from this tropical paradise is West Palm Beach, a city isolated from that impenetrable wall of wealth.
It's a bridge, actually, that go up. They really don't want us there. They'll just put up the bridge.
With nearly 100,000 residents and an estimated 160 gangs, West Palm Beach is a dangerous killing zone.
We in the hood, man. Y'all downtown West Norm. We call it West Norm, man, because all the gunplay that be going on around here. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can get it at any time.
The violence plaguing this small community is a product of proximity. A mere 70 miles south lies the Port of Miami, the one-time nerve center of Scarface Nation. At the height of Miami's drug war, 85% of the nation's cocaine was smuggled into the country through this major U.S. city. Palm Beach County is one of the first stops north on the notorious I-95 highway, a lucrative drug corridor.
Where there's money and drugs, there's guns. Where you get those three things together, there's always violence.
One of Palm Beach County's most